Today we're going to talk about your liver and your detoxification pathways. So all of the toxins and everything that you get exposed to during a day, good, bad or ugly, is going to eventually make it into your blood. Through your blood, it then goes through your detoxification pathways. 25% of that is mostly done through your gastrointestinal system, so your gut, and the other 75% is all left up to your liver. So when those toxins do come through your liver, it's a bit like having a big factory. So if we think about a big factory and the doors open up about 2 o'clock in the morning, what happens then is, for most people, is that they get up and go and do a wee. When in actual fact what that is offloading toxins after they've been finished through the factory so that you can start that factory up again and get those toxins processed and out of your body again. So the toxins that we're talking about are internal toxins, external toxins, and things that you probably even haven't thought about before. So externally, everybody knows that things like fumes from cigarettes, fumes from carbon monoxide, glues and cleaning products are all external ones. Internal ones or ingested ones, lots of people think about their liver and know all about the effect of alcohol or pharmaceutical drugs. And then the internal ones that not a lot of people think about are things like your preservatives and additives in your foods, your fats that you ingest while you're eating your dinner, your fats that you've got stored also get detoxified by your liver, as well as your estrogen, your testosterone, or your adrenaline even. So the reason why you don't stay hyper all the time, or the reason why you don't stay stressed all the time, and it passes eventually, is because those adrenaline hormones are actually broken down into smaller pieces by your liver and gotten out through that detoxification mechanisms. So when those trucks that are picking up all of your toxins throughout your body arrive at the factory doors at 2 a.m, what happens there is that we usually, in most people's bodies, if we've had something before we've gone to bed, is we go and do a wee at about 2 o'clock in the morning. That offloads all of the current toxins that are in your body, ready for the next batch to go through the factory. So after they get offloaded, the first thing that they see on the inside of that factory is a big conveyor belt. Every single toxin goes onto that conveyor belt. That conveyor belt is actually known as phase 1 of your detoxification. So everything gets loaded on there, and in the general Western diet, what will happen is that phase 1 generally goes quite quickly. The next little set of conveyor belts after that phase 2, they're generally not quite so fast. So back to phase 1, what happens is all of those toxins go on top, and there's usually quite a number of, let's say, robotic arms, pathways that can be used to pull apart those really large toxins into their smaller components. Those smaller components are really highly toxic. So you thought alcohol was bad? Alcohol dehydrogenase, which is the really small version of it, that's highly toxic. That's the reason people get hangovers. So we end up with those smaller components, and if phase 1 is going quite quickly, we end up with lots of them quite quickly, and then phase 2 is slowing right down, and you'll end up with a backlog of these toxins at the end of phase 1 and not quite getting into the phase 2, or that second conveyor belt, in a way that they need to be in unison to get them out of your body. So phase 2, like I was saying, is generally slower in the Western diet because of our lack of things like sulfurous foods, things like turmeric, things like broccoli, some B vitamins that we chow through because of all our stress, and some other essential nutrients and vitamins. So phase 2 starts to get kicking along, and generally we have a little bit of trouble there. The next place that your toxins go after that is they get repackaged up so that they're nice and safe for the rest to get out of your body, and then they go to the poo chute, the wee chute, or the sweat chute. So that's the way that we transfer them out of our body or out of that factory and get them out of our bloodstream and out of our system. Generally, if you have that build-up in the part of in between phase 1 and phase 2, if you have a build-up of highly toxic metabolites, your body is trying to do the best it can possibly do to keep those toxins away from you and keep you safe. What happens there is things like estrogen or things like nicotine also can get stored in your fat cells. That's the best place for them. They're stored away, they're kept nice and safe from your body. The issue there is if those that detoxification pathway isn't working properly and you've gone and stored them and you want to go and lose some weight, your body's going to do absolutely everything it can to keep you safe. So it's going to keep those fat cells on you as long as it possibly can. The cool thing about detoxifying or making sure that those pathways are working or those conveyor belts are working and having all of those wonderful vitamins and nutrients in there is that your body can then be happy to let go of that weight for you. On top of that, those little that little pathway in between phase 1 and phase 2, when it gets overloaded, those toxins can go back into circulation. Just like on our image and on our diagram here, those toxins form like a toxic sludge and they have to go back into circulation, back to the factory, get pulled back on the trucks the next night and have to go through the whole process again. This can be not only tiring, it can cause you fatigue, it can cause you weight gain, it can cause you headaches, it can cause a number of things that you may not necessarily get some bad results from your doctor about, but can just be that feeling of not quite right. So making sure those detoxification pathways work and getting all those toxins out of your body is essential.